Will you please join me in the pledge to the Bible?
I pledge allegiance to the Bible, God's holy word. I will make it a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. I will hide its words in my heart, that I might not sin against God.
Will you please join me in the pledge to the flag?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. I want to welcome everyone to Grammar Chapel as we continue through working through our speech meet qualifiers. Today, first and second grade will be giving their speeches. And I heard today was also Groundhog's Day, which is like, oh no, more winter. In Nebraska, that was a legit day. We're like, that rodent better do his job. We want spring now, but here it's not quite as bad. From time to time, we recognize Heart of the Warriors, and I would like Knox Klein to stand up. There's Knox. Is he in the back? He was recommended by a teacher. So I recommend Knox Klein for having a heart of a warrior because, like a true gentleman, he held the door open for a long line of third grade girls and me, Miss Watson, last week without being prompted. So, Knox Klein, for having a heart of the warrior, congratulations. Miss Watson also would like to recognize the sixth grade. So, sixth grade, please stand. All sixth grade. So anytime you get nominated by Miss Watson, this is a pretty big deal. So she said she recommends sixth grade for having a heart of a warrior for their valiant leadership in morning time in chapel. I can hear them singing and participating in chanting. It's so good to hear their voices. So sixth grade, thank you for having a heart of a warrior. This week we've been working through our in-class spelling bee. So that's from second and third grade. They will have a junior spelling bee coming up. And then fourth through eighth grade we'll have our school spelling bee. Some classes have already had those. And by the end of the week, all those classes will have their in-class spelling bee. The qualifiers will be notified and the letter will be sent home. Those spelling competitions are open to the public and they're here in the chapel. Also, if you notice, there's a large apparatus in front of me. So today's our picture day for our class pictures. You're still able to purchase those through the form that was brought home, or if you have, there's some posters around the building too, or if you have questions, you can contact Mrs. Bunce. So please stand with me. As we've been working through our speech meet qualifiers, it's a chance for us to recognize the importance of words and why we put such an emphasis on what we call rhetoric skills, the ability to speak persuasively. God, through the book of Proverbs, God tells us that words have a lot of power, so we use them for good and not for evil. So Proverbs is a good reminder of the use of our words and the importance of them. So please join me, and I'll say a line, you repeat after me. The heart of the wise teaches his mouth, and adds learning to his lips. Pleasant words are like a honeycomb, sweetness to the soul and health to the bones. Our second reading comes from Galatians chapter 5. It's a reminder of the fruit of the Spirit, as we've been working through that all this year. Again, I'll say a line, repeat after me. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Against such there is no law. Our first song is Wonderful Words of Life.
Sing them over again to me, wonderful words of life. Let me more of their beauty see, wonderful words of life. Words of life and beauty, teach me faith and duty. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Christ the Blessed One gives to all wonderful words of life. Sinner, list to the loving call, wonderful words of life. Oh, so freely given, wooing us to heaven. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Sweetly echo the gospel call, wonderful words of life. Offer pardon and peace to all, wonderful words of life. Jesus, only Savior, sanctify forever. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life. Beautiful words, wonderful words, wonderful words of life.
Will you please join me in the Lord's Prayer? Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you. You may be seated. As I mentioned, that this will be a chance. Is preschool staying? Okay. Okay. While we're dismissing preschool, I'll just talk briefly about the importance of speech meet. I mentioned a little bit already that words have a lot of power to us. Proverbs talks about words have the ability to produce life or death. And so from first grade on, we are training students to use their words in an effective way, to speak persuasively, and to do it in a way that blesses the hearer. So speech meet is a chance to practice that. For first grade, it's their first opportunity to do speech meet, and there's a survey that says that public speaking, some people fear public speaking more than death. And so to get students to be trained to speak publicly at a very early age is overcoming that fear. We talk about the virtue of courage, and so it's a chance for them to practice courage. So they have to stand in front of two judges and deliver their speech. So we put them kind of in a hot seat, but they do very, very well. In first grade, is the first opportunity to do that, and we're very proud of all of them for the work that they do. So I'm going to read off the qualifiers and runner-up. They will join me up here on stage. Parents, you're welcome to take a picture. Then we'll dismiss those that are runner-up, and qualifiers will stay and give their speech. Since we have two sections of first grade, we have two qualifiers and two runner-up. Unless there's a tie, then there's obviously more. And so there'll be two qualifiers giving their speech in each of the categories. First grade in Bible memory, our runner-ups tied was Hannah Molina and Dalen Wallace. Okay, come on up. Hannah, you'll stand over here for me, please. Thank you. Our qualifiers in Bible memory are Corey Gabbro and Olivia Davis. Our poetry runner-up, Relina Portwood and Hannah Cabrera. And our qualifiers, Claire Brown and Addison Atkins. In dramatic interpretation, our two qualifiers, Grayson Rodriguez and Penny Steeler. Parents, at this time, if you want to come forward and take a picture, you can do that now, as soon as Penny gets up here. Our first grade, one more. First grade, if you're a runner-up, you can go have your seat. Qualifiers, stay up here. Congratulations. So qualifiers, when I call your name, you're going to come over here to my left, and you'll speak loud and proud into the microphone. First up in Bible memory, Olivia Davis. Go ahead. Jack, I think we'll switch mics to this one right here. Next up in Bible memory is Corey Gabbro.
Matthew 22:37-40, New King James Version. And Jesus said to him, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second is like it. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. On these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets." This Bible verse is important to me because it's about the commandments. We must obey the commandments.
Next up in poetry, Claire Brown.
Scrubby, his ears hang rather low, and he always brings his stick back, no matter how far you throw. He gets spanked rather often for things he shouldn't do, like lying on beds and barking, and eating up shoes when they're new. He always wants to be going where he isn't supposed to go. He tracks up the house when it's snowing. Oh, puppy, I love you so.
Thank you, Claire. Poetry, Addison Atkins.
Animals 2 by Margaret E. Animals 2 by Margaret E. Singleton. Animals have feelings too. They need love just as people do. Animals have only cries and wagging tails and hopeful eyes to say they're hungry, hurt, or scared, or wish that someone cared. Helping animals sick or sad makes you and me feel strong and glad.
In dramatic interpretation, Penny Steeler.
The Boy and the Nuts by Aesop. One good practical reason for controlling your cravings is if you grasp for too much, you may end up with nothing at all. A little boy once saw a jar of nuts on the table. I would like some of these nuts, he thought. I'm sure if Mom was here, she would give me some. I'll take a handful. So he reached in the jar, grabbed as many as he could hold. When he tried to get his hand out, he found out that the neck of the jar was too small. He tried again and again, but he couldn't get the whole handful of nuts out of the jar. But just then, his mother walked in and said, "What's the matter?" she asked. "I can't get this whole handful of nuts out of the jar," sobbed the boy. "Well, don't be greedy," his mother replied. "Just take 2 or 3 and you'll have no trouble getting your hand out." "How easy that was," said the boy. "I should have thought of that myself."
In dramatic interpretation, Grayson Rodriguez.
The Lion and the Mouse by Aesop. Here is one of the best love stories of kindness paid and repaid. From it we learn that the power of compassion has been found within both the mighty and the meek. Kindness is not a feeble virtue. One day a great lion lay asleep in the sunshine. A little mouse ran across his paw and woken him. The great lion was just going to eat the mouse up, and the little mouse cried, "Oh, please, let me go, sir. Someday I may help you." The lion laughed at the thought that the mouse could be of any use to him, but he was a good-natured lion and set the mouse free. Not longer after, the lion was caught in a net. He tugged and pulled with all his might, but the ropes were too strong. After that, he roared loudly. The little mouse heard him and ran to the spot. "Be still, dear lion, and I will set you free. I will gnaw the ropes with my sharp little teeth." The mouse cut the net, and the lion came out of the net. "You laughed at me once," said the little mouse. "You thought I was too little to do you a good turn. But see, you owe your life to a poor little mouse."
Well done, first grade. Now, second grade. Again, we have two teachers for that grade, so we have 2 qualifiers and 2 runner-up, unless there's a tie. In Bible memory, our runner-up, David Kessler and Alex Jimenez. Qualifier, our 2 qualifiers are Vince Tu and Dale Rempel. In poetry, our 2 runner-up, Hannah Zaffron and Ellie McMahon. And our qualifiers in poetry are Muriel Johnson and Helen Petrus. Dramatic interpretation, our 2 runners-up are Elliot Andrus and Zara Martinez. Our qualifiers in dramatic interpretation, Carter Jenkins and Charlie Gallagher. Parents, at this time, if you'd like to come forward and take a picture, you may. This time we'll dismiss the runners up and qualifiers stay up here. Congratulations. First up in Bible memory, Dale Rempel. Come over here, Dale.
Colossians 3, 1 through 4. If then you were raised with Christ, seek those things which are above, where Christ is, sitting at the right hand of God. Set your mind on things above, not on things on the earth. For you died, and your life is hidden with Christ in God. When Christ, who is our life, appears, you also will appear with him in glory.
Next up in Bible memory, Vince 2.
Ephesians 6, verses 1 through 3. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor your father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with you and you may live long on the earth. I think this means to me, if you obey your parents in the Lord, you can live long on earth.
That's always a dangerous verse to memorize. Next up, in poetry, Muriel Johnson.
The Balloon by Carla Cuskin. I went to the park and I bought a balloon. It sailed through the sky like a large orange moon. It bumped and it fluttered and swam with the clouds. Small birds flew around it in high chirping crowds. It bounced and it balanced and bowed with the breeze. It skimmed past the leaves on the tops of the trees. And then as the day started turning to night, I gave a short jump and held the string tight. And home we all sailed through the darkening sky, the orange balloon, the small birds, and I.
Next up in poetry, Helen Petrus.
What is Pink by Christina Rossetti. What is pink? A rose is pink by the fountain's brink. What is red? A poppy's red in its barley bed. What is blue? The sky is blue where the clouds float through. What is white? A swan is white sailing in the light. What is yellow? Pears are yellow, rich and ripe and mellow. What is green? The grass is green with small flowers between. What is violet? Clouds are violet in the summer twilight. What is orange? Why an orange? Just an orange.
Next up in dramatic interpretation, Carter Jenkins.
Goose that laid the golden eggs by Aesop. This classic fable is about plenty not being enough, when having it all becomes the motto of the day. A man and his wife had the good fortune to possess a goose that laid a golden egg every day. Lucky though they were, they soon began to think they were not getting rich fast enough. They imagined the bird must be made of gold inside, so they decided to kill it in order to secure the whole store of precious metal at once. But when they cut it open, they found it was just like any other goose. Thus they neither got rich all at once, as they had hoped, nor continued to enjoy the daily addition to their wealth. Much once more, and lose us all.
Dramatic interpretation, Charlie Gallagher.
The Lion and the Mouse, Aesop. Here is one of the best love stories of kindness paid and repaid. From it we learn that the power of compassion has been found within both the mighty and the meek. Kindness is not a feeble virtue. One day a great lion lay asleep in the sunshine. A little mouse ran across his paw and wakened him. The lion was just going to eat him up when the little mouse cried, "Oh, please, let me go, sir. Someday I may help you." The lion laughed at the thought that the little mouse could be of any use to him, but he was a good-natured lion and set the mouse free. Not long after, the lion was caught in a net. He tugged and pulled with all his might, but the ropes were too strong. Then he roared loudly. The little mouse heard him and ran to the spot. "Be still, dear lion, and I will set you free. I will gnaw the ropes." With his sharp little teeth, the mouse cut the ropes, and the lion came out of the net. "You laughed at me once," said the mouse. "You thought I was too little to do you a good turn, but see, you owe your life to a poor little mouse."
Would you please stand as we sing our last hymn, O 4,000 Tongues. So well done, first and second grade. Fourth grade, you'll be on the clock next week. Our closing is Psalm 19:14. "Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, my strength and my Redeemer." Amen.